ChatGPT says I had a good answer. At least someone agrees. ChatGPT's just like,
what's up, guys? Welcome back to another F1 episode. I just wanted to start off with a little intro, I guess, to the episode because we didn't really film one. But I'm sorry that this is coming out a day later, but it's okay. I needed to wait a day because I had stuff that I needed to do yesterday, but now I'm free. And that means that you are gonna want to buckle up for this episode because I have time to do a semi-decent edit. And that's what this video is gonna be about. So just like buckle up and enjoy the ride. It might get a little chaotic at times, but that's okay. We're here for it. We live for the chaos. So enjoy.
it's gonna be quicker than the start time for this race. We are not gonna do a delay to y'all. We're gonna make it to the point. We don't really have any news that we can find that's been super popular. I just haven't seen anything where like eye-catching that they're like, oh, we have to talk about this. Wait. Never
I
mind.
just thought of something. Oh my gosh. So, we talked about Christian Horner getting sacked and all that.
Yeah.
Well, Yuki made a Q3 appearance. That's what else we didn't do notes on, but that's besides the point. He made a Q3 appearance, his highest qualifying since he switched to the senior team. And not only that, but Laurent Mekies came out and said that they were giving the spare parts from Max's garage to Yuki, so they're finally on level car parts wise. Like, the car is not different at all. And you could tell that made a difference this week. Maybe not in where he finished because Red Bull's strategy screwed him over, but we're not going to talk about that. And they admitted that they screwed him over, so we're evolving around here. But you could tell that there was a difference in Yuki's confidence in the car this week.
That's the big news. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Other than that, the constructors' standings haven't really changed. Again, Sauber is in 6th. They still have passed Racing Bulls. So slay to them. A thing moves. Haas within points of Aston Martin, which it's not really that surprising. It's Aston Martin. And then, like I was trying to say, what? I give up. What?
Something else.
Okay, go ahead.
While we're talking about Aston Martin, oh my gosh. It's Fernando's 44th birthday today.
Oh.
So happy birthday to Fernando.
Yeah, happy birthday, Nando. Pierre has all of Alpine's points, but that shouldn't be surprising because it's not surprising.
Franco sucks!
Yeah. You're doing nothing, but good job. The driver's standings, still nothing new. The gap between Oscar and Lando is now 16 points. So can't wait to see what happens there.
So it is Spa, so lap times are longer. Didn't really understand why Spa was made a sprint this year. Lap times are in like the mid 140s, so it's like, how many laps are you really letting them do? They did 15 laps. Whereas the race they did 44, I believe.
Yeah, 44.
Don't quote me on that. Not much really happened. I mean, lap 1, Max overtook Oscar. Qualifying for that, Oscar's qualifying lap for the sprint to get pole, new track record, 1 minute 40 something. Crazy. And like that beat the Mercedes W11 the one that's really, really fast,
Yeah.
that has, like, all the records. Yep, it beat that. It beat that. So what does that tell you about the McLaren car this season? But yeah, crazy. Max overtook him lap 1. Then 2 through 10, not much happened. Lando briefly lost P3 to Charles, but then he got it back, and then he kind of put the pressure on Oscar and Max, but not too much. And then lap 11, Oscar actually tried to overtake Max, but it was unsuccessful. Max defended it very well. And then lap 15 was the finish. So, the sprint podium, I'm not saying that I don't care about everyone else and where they finished, but I'm just trying to keep this a little bit more concise. Max in first, Oscar in second, and Lando in third. But over to the main race, and I'm realizing we didn't do qualifying like we normally do, but that's fine. We don't really care that much about qualifying, do we? I
No.
mean, here Lando's lap, it shocked me, honestly, because it was on the first run in Q3, and I remember looking at the clock and being like, "Holy cow, he set this lap with 7 minutes to go. Surely the lap times are gonna get even faster than what he set it at," and no one was able to improve. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'll take that then." The race ended up being delayed due to heavy rain. They said roughly 80 minutes, but I remember it being like 10:30, so really it was like 90 minutes that it got delayed. Oh, it was rough. And then we didn't even have a regular standstill start. We actually had to do a rolling start. And then, we did the first couple laps under safety car, so that's great, and it was
Yeah.
controversial because you had drivers like Max and Lewis hopping on their team radio and being like, "Look, this is fine. We can race in it." And I think, like, the reason that the stewards gave was visibility, but I feel like if you're gonna call that this past weekend for visibility, you should have done something in Brazil differently last year. Like, the
Exactly.
standards are different, and I was not very happy with it, and I was like, I get the heavy rain to start off with, like, not even doing it, so I'm kinda glad that that didn't the rain was really coming down, but they really could have just not started under a safety car, and it would have been
Yeah.
fine. Besides the point. So on the restart on lap 5, Oscar actually overtook Lando, in the same spot that Max made the move on him. um, that was a little ironic there. And then Charles and Max were battling for P3. Uh, what a performance from Charles this weekend. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say as of right now. But laps 6 to 11, the track started drying again. Oscar started to build a gap for Lando, and we got some more midfield battles there. I mean, we saw a lot from Kimi and Lewis, and I think it was Esteban. I mean, it was still pretty boring. But lap 12, our first pit cycle, Oscar came in for mediums, and then a bunch of other people did as well. So actually 4 drivers did start from the pit lane. Carlos, Kimi, Lewis, and Fernando were all the drivers that started from the pit lane, and some of them jumped into the pits early, Lewis being one of them, to make the change from the inter tires to the slicks. And Lewis began to, cut through the field once that change happened, but then the next lap, Lando pitted. Instead, he put on hard tires because teams were unsure whether the mediums were going to last the rest of the race. He had a slow pit stop, which wasn't great. It was the front left that had trouble getting on, and it was just not fun. So his pit stop was over 3.5, I believe, and Oscar's was like around 2. And so that just cost him some time, which was unfortunate, catching up to Oscar. And then lap 14 through 25. So Oscar built his gap to Lando to around 8 seconds. And again, that pit stop from Lando didn't really help. And then behind Lando, another 8 seconds was Charles. And at this point, Lewis got up to P7. And then lap 26, Lando made a small error. He didn't go into turn 1 correctly because of the oversteer, I think. And it just caused him to take the turn wide, and it wasn't great. And then that compromised the rest of his lap, which was unfortunate. And then laps 30 through 35, we got some people doing a second pit stop, Franco, Kimi, and Fernando. And then as a result of that, Kimi set the fastest lap of the race. And then laps 36 through 44, we actually got a little smidge bit of a battle between Lewis and Alex for P6. Alex did a fantastic job as well. Charles was able to hold off Max somehow for P3. And at one point, the gap between Lando and Oscar was roughly 4 seconds. I think there was 5 laps to go. And I was like, oh, I'm not ruling him out just yet. And then that lap, he made a mistake. And but it's fine. But then lap 44, we had our finish. Oscar finished 3.4 ahead of Lando and Charles ahead of Max. And Alex ahead of Lewis, which was a thing within itself. So our results of the race: Oscar in first, Lando in second, Charles in third, Max in fourth, George in fifth, Alex in sixth, Lewis in seventh, Liam in eighth, Gabby in ninth, and Pierre rounding out the top 10. That's the race. I mean, overall, I thought it was kind of boring. I don't know what you thought about it, but I was like, there's not much going on here. I thought there was, I just appreciate the historic aspect of it, and the En Rouge turns, where it's like, I really appreciate that about the track, but I don't know, it just felt boring. It didn't feel like last year at all. Don't know what was up.
There's a couple races where I felt like the changes they've made has made it kind of boring. Going to sprint or the 2-stop or all that kind of stuff has made the races more all these rules they're having to follow now, and it's just the races have definitely lacked some sparkle every once in a while. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't good races this year. There have been some great races. I'm just saying there have been some where last year was better in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying this season is terrible.
No,
because we don't have one winner winning the entire
everything. Yeah,
but
it's 3 this time.
It just didn't feel as exciting, I guess I'll say. And I feel with Pirelli choosing to bring the C1 and then C3 and 4, you kind of knew that you were setting up, or whatever ones that they brought. They didn't bring the 3 in a row or whatever. You kind of knew that they were setting themselves up for this, but even then, once you pit from the inters, you knew you were pretty much going to go on that set of tires till the end.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like they should have changed that. Or Pirelli, I think the main thing is that Pirelli should just change their tires.
I mean, girl, you didn't let me finish my sentence. I'd love to see now to our predictions, but first, the Hungary preview. Let's finish.
You did not make it seem like you were coming back to the preview. I was like, hold on. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Well, go ahead.
Alright, well, that being said, this week we are not in Zandvoort like I thought. We are actually in Hungary. So, Hungarian GP, the first Grand Prix was in 1986. It is a total of 70 laps. It's roughly 4.381 kilometers per lap. The race distance is 306.63 kilometers, and the lap record is held by Lewis Hamilton, which he set in 2020 with a time of 1 minute 16 seconds, 627. Last year's podium was Oscar, Lando, and Lewis. If you recall from last season, this was the race where McLaren's strategy done messed up so bad, and they actually had Lando undercut Oscar, and then they had to do team orders for Lando to give Oscar the lead back, and Oscar was the one struggling to keep up with Lando. 1 year anniversary, am I right?
Well, I can go ahead and tell you my prediction. I've been thinking about it.
Oh, you don't want to go over the ones that we did last week?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Teaser.
So
You know who's winning.
right. So last week's sprint podium predictions. Julie had Oscar, Charles, and George. I said Lewis, Oscar, and Lando. I got 2 points. Julie got 2 points. And then the race podium, she chose Lando to win, then George, and then Oscar, and I chose Oscar, Lando, and George. So she got 2 more points from that. So Julie now has 42 points. I got 10 points and 2 from the sprint, so really I got 12. So now I'm up to 55 points. I'm regretting telling Julie to take Charles off, but I mean it only would have gotten her 1 point. That's fine. But to our predictions for Hungary.
And I'm gonna say, because I'm just gonna go ahead and say, get it over with. I'm gonna say Oscar in first, Endo in second, and Max in third. Oscar had a good race, even though there's some strategy issues, and they really messed up Lando, but he still did pretty okay. And I honestly think he deserves a win there, one that's not controversial. And so I really think he deserves a win. I think Lando will do really well too. He's done pretty good the last couple of times. Max, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Max also kind of won this, but I'm gonna put him in third just cause. He's pretty good in Hungary. Lando's finished second the last 2 Grand Prix, and so I mean there could be a good chance that, right?
He
finished second.
won Silverstone.
I know. I'm saying he won the last 2 Hungarian Grand Prix. He got
I
second.
only heard Grand Prix, and I was like,
no.
he didn't win Silverstone.
I know he won Silverstone. And then Max Verstappen's also won twice, so that's why I'm like there is a slight chance that he'll win because I'm saying this, but he's won twice there. But Red Bull tends to kind of also struggle on that track too. With the tight corners, but I'm gonna keep him in third just because they kind of do struggle. But I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna lock it in, and just pray for me because I can never get one right to save my life unless it's controversial. Yes, I'm still pissed about it. Leave me alone.
Well, you're really gonna hate mine.
It's gonna be Lando, Charles, and Oscar.
Asked ChatGPT for my predictions. So I'll start in third place so we ramp up with the winner. In third, I'm gonna go with George Russell. It says here, he is strong showing on twisty circuits. Cool.
At GPT, Rick's me over. I'm doing him.
In second place, I'm going Oscar. It says here, tactical racecraft, consistent finishes. And in first, I'm once again going with Lando. It says the rationale behind it. Rapid development, strong quali pace. Hopefully he doesn't battle it into turn 1.
Yeah. Wait,
And that's what ChatGPT predicts for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
ChatGPT says I had a good answer. At least someone agrees. ChatGPT's just like, I got your back. I'm right here. We'll see. Well, guys, I hope you liked our predictions. And we would like to see your predictions, so please leave them in the comments. And then, if you would like to not miss any other kind of videos we put out, or just F1 videos, please subscribe, turn on our post notifications, and leave a like so you don't miss any of our other videos. And if you want to check out any of our social media pages, just go in our bio below, our description below, whatever you want to call it. And there are the links for that. And that's pretty much it. So please subscribe.